Welcome back to the channel. Today I will show you how to turn this ugly green something into a beautiful fiery heart nebula. So let's get to it. Okay, so we have two master files here. This is actually a 2-panel mosaic of the Heart Nebula. I shot this during 2 nights and I used the Optolong L-Ultimate filter and I roughly got like 3 something hours for each panel. So as you can see, the data is unstretched at this point. And to merge it into one seamless image, we will use these two actually scripts and one process: the image solver, the MosaicByCoordinates script, and the GradienMergeMosaic process. But before we can use that, we will have to deal with the gradients, contrasts, and all kinds of stuff. I will start by renaming both images. So for the first one, I will use identifier top. Second one will be bottom. First, I will unlink the 3 channels so we can better see the data we are working on. Like this already looks much better. Okay, next we will do dynamic background extraction to get rid of all the gradients. Actually, a little inside here, you can see a white, not white, but bright stripe of something in the top image. And it's the same here in the bottom. This is actually a off-axis guider casting a shadow onto the imaging sensor. And at the time I was calibrating the data, I used short flat frames, and the master flat ended up being too dark, so it subtracted too much, and the result is brighter area at the top of each of the master files. Okay, I will get rid of the bottom. We will first work on the top. Before opening dynamic background extraction, I will get rid of the stars so I can better see where the nebulosity is and where it's not. The stars are out. I will minimize this. Okay, now we can better see where the nebulosity actually is. We got a little artifact by which was created by subtracting the dark frames, same as the last video. Okay, now we can open dynamic background extraction. I will start placing some sample points. I will just make them a little bit smaller. Okay, let's go. Okay, here at the top we can see this red and yellow something. That means we will need to raise the tolerance. I will try something like 5. Okay, that's maybe a little too much. 3. No, okay, 4. Sorry. 4.5. I think that will be good. Okay, we will use correction of subtraction, we will normalize, and we will not discard the background model because I want to see it. Okay. Okay, we are definitely catching this top bright part, so that's good, but we will need to refine because it's not looking so good. So this area is a little bit too dark, but the top area it's actually pretty fine. So here we will need to place, I think, some more points to even it out. I will try this one right here and right here, maybe even here. I will try, let's see. Okay. We are getting somewhere, definitely. It's a little bit better. I will try to lower the smoothing factor. Okay, it's better, but still not good enough. I will try to create some really small sample points in the darker areas where I think that there is no nebulosity, or the background should be pretty much the same as the dark space background. Okay, something like this. I will even try to put a point here. I think that will not work good, but let's see. Not bad. Not bad. It's definitely better. Okay, so this version is maybe the best I can do at this point. What is this? A blob of some kind. I will look into it later, what that actually is. Okay, so I will close this one. One last check. This middle area is actually not looking good. I will try to remove these two sample points and see where it gets us. Not good, not good. I think this one shall remain. Yes, this is the final version. Okay. I will save this just in case. Minimize this one. So rename the top DBE. We will work with this later. Now let's do dynamic background extraction on the bottom. Yeah, I think we're good. I always take some time to get dynamic background extraction looking as I want it to be, because I find this specific process has maybe the largest impact on the final version. You really need to take the time and try to do it best as you can. Okay. Now I will recombine the stars with the starless images, and we will do SPCC. So I will use this ScreenStars script. First I will select the top DBE with the top stars. I will name it top underscore starry. Okay. Now I will open it again. I will use the bottom DBE with bottom starry, and the ID will be bottom starry view. Okay. We are now DBE'd. Good. Now to calibrate the color of the stars, we will use SPCC. So the filter used was L-Ultimate, so this will be pretty easy and pretty quick. The region of interest for the background, I will choose something where there is not a lot of things happening, something like this. Let's give it a go. Oh, sorry, the image has no valid astrometric solution. We need to fix that. So script, image analysis, image solver. I will search for the Heart Nebula. The catalog name is IC1805. Hit search. IC1805. Okay. The pixel size for my camera, which is ZWO ASI 294 MC Pro, is 4.61 micrometers, I think. Sorry, it's 4.63. Okay. And I shot this at a focal length of 481. I just remembered this number. Okay, let's give it a go. The image solver script was successful. Right here in the console log we can see the image bounds for each corner. And now we can use SPCC to calibrate the color. SPCC is now finished. We can link the channels and stretch the image. Nice. I will now do the exact same thing on the bottom panel and I will get back to you. SPCC was successful once again. We can now link the channels on the second image and stretch it. Let's see what we got. Okay, we are now a little bit closer. Now is the time to merge the two panels into one seamless integration. So I used the image solver script a couple of seconds ago. Now we are going to do MosaicByCoordinates. So for this to work, I will need to add files or add actually windows to the script. So the names are bottom starry and top starry. Hit OK and OK. The script has finished its job. It took maybe like 3 minutes to finish the processes. I will minimize the panels and see what we got here. Perfect result as expected. We can see some natural field rotation here we will get rid of that with cropping. And if I overlay these two panels on top of each other, we see that they are perfectly matched. And if I jump between the two panels, we see that the match is just perfect. Great. I can now see that the background levels are a little bit different. The bottom panel has a little bit brighter background than the top panel, but I think we will deal with that maybe with dynamic background extraction later when the panels are merged. So now we will use the process called GradienMergeMosaic. And for this to work, we will need actually to save these two images into separate files and load the files here. So let me do that. I will save them as TIFF files. Okay, files are now saved. I saved them to desktop, so now I can load them to the script. And I will just try to use the default settings, and if we don't get a good result, I will tinker with these. So hit circle for apply global, and let's see. Process is now finished. Okay, things are looking pretty good. I'm not sure what this is. This is some kind of artifact, but I think I can deal with that. Apart from that, it's pretty nice, I think. Yeah, I can definitely see some different background levels, but yeah, for the sake of this video, it's definitely good. I can work with that. So we will minimize these. Now that I'm looking at the image, I'm not sure why this process did throw off the color calibration, or at least the background color. When I link the channels, it actually should be gray, but it has a blue tint, so I will fix that. We can now do some cropping to get rid of these dark or actually black pixels that were created by the GradienMergeMosaic, by the MosaicByCoordinates script. So DynamicCrop. I will just crop the minimum amount to get the maximum field of view. Something like this. Hit the green tick and everything is good. I will now try to calibrate the background to get rid of the blue tint with the BackgroundNeutralization process. So the reference image is actually the merged mosaic, and the region of interest is the preview one. Okay, let's go. I will now link the channels and stretch the image. Perfect. The background is now neutral. Delete the preview, and now from this point we can deal with the image as with the regular nebula image, like no mosaic ever happened. So we will start with getting rid of this ugly blob here. I will try to CloneStamp it out. I will use the CloneStamp process, a little bit larger radius. Okay, something like this. Yeah, it's definitely a little bit softer. I could work on that even more, but for the sake of this video, let's proceed. I will now use Russ Chroman's BlurXTerminator. I will just raise the sharpen stars a little bit, and then if I look in the corners, I see that I have some spacing issues. Nothing too terrible, but for that I will use the correct first tick. Okay. BlurXTerminator is now done. The result is fantastic as usual. Let's see the before and after. Before and after. Perfect. Perfect stars and perfect sharpening. Nice. Now we will use NoiseXTerminator. The default values are 0.9 for denoise. I like to lower it a little bit to 0.75 maybe. The detail is 0.15. Let's look at the noise levels. The image was not too noisy to start with, but with NoiseXTerminator it's really clean. Yeah, perfect. Now I think it's time to move to the second workspace, because we have a couple of icons here and stuff that we don't need. So I will send this to workspace number 2, and as well with all these icons move to workspace number 2. Okay. We will now get rid of all the stars. For that I will use, of course, the RC Astro StarXTerminator. I will unscreen the stars, and just for test purposes I will use large overlap. It definitely takes a lot more time, but I'm using the GPU acceleration, so it will take maybe like a minute maximum. Stars are out. The process took maybe like 45 seconds. My GPU fans are blowing at nearly maximum speed, so I know that's working fine. I think we've done all the linear processing, all the images. The merge mosaic is still linear, even the stars, of course. So we will now use generalized hyperbolic stretch to stretch this beautiful nebula data. I will open a real-time preview, and I always like to start by looking at the black point, as Adam Block always says. I remembered that because I watched this video a couple of times. You should always leave just one spike to the left of the main spike, or one hill as he says. So this is pretty much the case. The red channel is sticking out in here a little bit. I'm not sure why that is. Yeah, never mind. Never mind. We will stretch it as usual. You should always do your stretches in multiple smaller steps. I like to use this local intensity, but if you overdo it, you lose the contrast, but you will see all the fainter nebulosity to come out of the image. But yeah, don't overdo it. I will try something like 3.5. Okay, step 1. Now reset the tool. I will now choose this fainter stuff right here. move the symmetry point, and stretch again. Things are looking good. The image is nice and contrasty. In the second step, I like to change the mode from RGB to color, so it preserves the color really nicely. This is maybe a little too much, so this is what the slider is here for. Color blend, I will lower it just a little bit. Okay, maybe half of it, something like 0.5. Okay, we can apply. And for the last step, I will try to bring out more of this faint nebulosity, something like here or here. I will move the symmetry point and stretch a little bit. Now the highlights are getting a little bit too bright, so I can use this protect highlights slider to just calm them down a little bit. Before and after, things are looking good. Maybe a little bit more stretch. Perfect, perfect. I can work with this. Apply. We are now done with the stretching. When the data is fully stretched, I like to use this NarrowbandNormalization process made by Bill Blanchon and his friends or friend. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name. So we can open the real-time preview and see immediately what we're working with, and the data is immediately looking perfect. We will use the HOO palette. I will just try different lightness modes. So this is off, it's looking pretty good. Preserve is looking not so good. HA is looking too contrasty, and O3 is, well, terrible. So I will use lightness mode off. Here in the blend modes you have 3 options, and I always like to use the blend mode 1. And we can see a lot of HA signal. It's really strong in this nebula, but I also like to see some of the O3 in the middle of it. So I will use this O3 boost slider and boost the blues inside. Something like this. Now change the lightness mode so I can be sure I'm choosing the best option. Now that I'm looking at it, this HA is looking a little bit better because it calms down the highlights, and I can maybe boost the O3 even a little bit more. Yeah, something like this. And these highlights, especially this Melot 15 object and the fish head, are a little bit too bright, so I will try to use highlight reduction and just calm them down. Yes, something like this. Before and after. Perfect. Perfect. Hit apply. We are now done with the narrowband normalization. I will minimize the stars. Okay, now it's time to work with the color. First step, I like to open CurvesTransformation, open the real-time preview, and boost the saturation so I can see the colors a little bit better. Not too much, not too low, something decent like this. Hit apply. Okay, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, something like this. Perfect. the next step, we will use the ColorMask script, but for that I will create 2 clones, and these clones will be used to actually create the color masks. I will try to create 2 color masks, one for the orange, yellow, red, and one for the O3 in the middle. So we start with the first one. These 2 masks will be sacrificed to create a color mask, actually 2 of those. For that I will use the ColorMask script. This is a script that doesn't, this is actually a modified ColorMask script, modification number 5, and this is not a script that is coming with a default version of PixInsight. Just Google ColorMask v1 mod 5 and you will find plenty of resources on how to get this amazing script. So before I actually start, I will increase the saturation even more, so the script doesn't have any problems catching all the colors of the beautiful nebula, something like this for the first one, and for the second one we are trying to catch the blues, so I will boost those and calm them in the shadows. Boost the saturation a bit, and this will be just fine. Now open the ColorMask script and we will choose red, and I will move the slider to catch even those yellows. Hit OK. The mask is looking pretty good. Now for the second one, here we are trying to catch the blues, so I will hit blue. And I will try to catch from the violet, because I see some violet here, all the way to the teals, something like this. Hit OK, wait for the mask to generate. Looking good, pretty good, yeah. Okay, we can now close these 2 sacrificial images and we are left with 2 masks. I will now use the process called convolution to soften them up so we have no hard edges when shifting the colors. So that was the first mask, now the second mask. Yeah, it's looking good. We will now apply the mask. I will just quickly rename it to red and blue. And you apply a mask by dragging the identifier over to this portion. It shines in red. We now know the mask is active, and I will unshow the mask, but it's still active. We can see that by this identifier turning orange. Open the CurvesTransformation, real-time preview, and remember, now we are working on this orange, yellow, reddish part of the nebula. So I want to boost the red channel in there and get some nice color. It's already doing pretty good. Now I will select the green channel and I will boost the green a little bit in the highlights to create yellow, and I will subtract it from the shadows to create some deeper red. Okay, something like this. I will give it a second go because I think we could use some more red. So something like this, boost the saturation. Not too much. Subtract some of the blue. And subtract some of the green from the darker areas. Not so much, just something like this. I will now remove the mask from the image, but I will keep it here because maybe I will get back to it in a moment, and apply the blue one. Reset the tool, open real-time preview, sorry, not on that one, but on the main image. And let's play a little bit with the blue one. Boost it, remove some of the red to achieve a deeper blue color. Boost the saturation a little bit. Perfect. Perfect. Hit apply. Nicely done. Maybe just a bit more of blue. Something like this. Okay, the image is a lot more colorful right now, and I see that the nebula has some really nice colors in it, but the background has a blue tint. We will need to deal with that. So for that I will use a range selection process, and I will try to select just the background. With these sliders, and I am trying to select mainly this area for desaturation. So this is looking pretty good. I think I selected all of the background. I will add some smoothness so we don't have any harsh edges, some of fuzziness. So we add some structure to the mask. Yeah. Hit the square. Mask is now generated. Close the real-time preview. And I will use convolution on this one as well. Okay. Apply the mask to the image. And use CurvesTransformation, saturation, and desaturate the background. That's maybe a little too much. Something like this. Let's see the before. Blue tint, and after, no blue tint. Great. Maybe just a little less. Hit the square. Let's go for one more round, because I still saw some of that blue in there. This is now perfect. I will close the mask. And now, without using any kind of mask, I will again open curves and try to, I will select all the channels and try to increase the contrast a little bit and darken the background so it maybe hides a little bit of those problematic areas with lots of noise and stuff. I don't want the image to look too dramatic. So this will be a subtle change. Yeah, perfect. I will maybe get back a little bit to the red mask, because now that I'm looking at the image, I see too much of the orange color where it should be more reddish. Nothing too over dramatic. Yeah, this is a subtle change, but a nice one. Okay, I think we are now done with the curves. We have come a long way from the beginning up until this point. The image is not perfect, but not too bad. I will remove the mask, get rid of all of these, move the image to the side, and now work on the stars. Yep, this is the stars. So I will stretch the star image, yeah, in generalized hyperbolic stretch, but for transformation type I will use arcsine H. Open the real-time preview and stretch until a point that I actually like, that I can see sufficient amount of stars right here. Maybe a little more, so I can also see some of the halos, because for some stars that the cores are actually oversaturated or are fully saturated, the star color is only visible through the halo, so in some cases it's really needed. Okay, I will stop here, close the generalized hyperbolic stretch, and open the CurvesTransformation, where I will start by increasing the saturation like this, and dropping the shadows, because I think I overdid it with the halos just a tad. Yeah, like this. And here we can see that some of the stars are shining in some strange green teal-ish color, and also some violet. So we will deal with that with the simplest tool ever, which is the SCNR. So apply, that got rid of the green. I will now invert the star image and apply it once again. For inverting the star image I used Ctrl and I, and by applying SCNR to the inverted image, we are eliminating green color from the inverted, and if I invert back, we effectively eliminated the violet stars. So I will now get back and maybe add a little bit more saturation, because the star colors are now more natural-like looking, blue and orange to yellow to red and all kinds of shades. And I will just add a little bit more to the highlights, because I think they are looking a little too dim, and maybe just a touch more saturation, so I can really differentiate the blues and the oranges in the stars. Yeah, this is nice. Now close down the real-time preview, and we are left with the two images, and the last step is to screen the stars back. For that I will use the ScreenStars script, also by Bill Blanchon and Mike Cranfield. I'm sorry, Mike, I did not remember your name, but it's written right here, so that's good. The starless view is named Merge Mosaic, and the stars view is named Merge Mosaic Stars. And the output will be Mosaic_starry. Hit the green tick, and our job here, my friends, is done. This is our result. We have some beautiful details here, like the core, which is named Millet 15, and all these wonderful dark structures. Yeah, astrophotography is amazing. Thank you everybody for watching my video, and if you get this far, I think you're really hooked. So I will again provide all the data, so you can try to process it on your machine and try to achieve similar or better results than I did. This is not an image that will win any kinds of awards. If I will do it one more time, I will always get a different result, because you are doing hundreds and hundreds of small decisions during the editing process, and it all leads to a completely different output. Just to compare, this is an image as you saw me editing right now, and here I have an image which I was editing a couple of days back, where I had a little bit more time, and it took me like maybe 6 hours. This took me maybe roughly 1.5 hours, and this image is looking really, I think, a lot better, especially here in the top portion. We are seeing some hydrogen clouds, where in this image it's a little bit problematic. There is no saturation, and I think I messed something up in the dynamic background extraction, and even the fish head nebula, it's not looking bad, but this version is looking I think a little bit better. We have some nicer color in here, and the details are a little bit more crisp. So yeah, no two images are the same, but that's the beauty of astrophotography. So thanks again. Remember to subscribe and hit the like button. It really helps me and helps the video to be seen by other people like you and me, who are interested in this beautiful hobby. Thank you again, and have a nice day.